Our mission? Historical research. Put it on audio.
Who cares if the earth is flat? Who cares if it's round? Doesn't matter. We just gonna live and die. Anyway, we all gonna die. Don't none of this shit matter anyway. I tell you why it matters. Everything that you've been programmed to believe about reality and the way this universe works is purposely designed to hide you from who you really are. It's purposely designed to hide the true children of Israel. It's purposely designed to hide you from the true divine mother and father of creation. It's purposely designed to hide you from your roots. It's meant to hide the tree of life and the true nature of the universe and how everything is created and the true power that we have. It's designed to keep you out of balance with the yin and the yang, even down to the sexual nature and the sexual energy that everybody carries, which is the most powerful energy in creation. It's so powerful, in fact, it can bring a whole body and a whole soul into this world. All we know how to do is bust a nut. We don't even know the real power of what we're playing with. So that's why it matters. It does matter. We didn't just happen by accident.
And if you haven't seen it, click off. This isn't for you. But if you have seen it, let's talk about the deep meanings behind this show. I will give you 11 hidden meanings behind this show. Here's the obvious number one. This entire show is not about a game, but rather about the destructive nature of capitalism. Two, every single player in the Squid Game represent people in the bottom of this capitalist structure that we exist within, the people that we often consider to be failures, but are actually victims of the very game that we find ourselves in. Three, notice that the players were chosen much in the way that the system that we live in intentionally exploits the most vulnerable and the most marginalized, often under the guise of help. Four, the reason why it was okay to exploit those people and even kill them is the same way we look at homeless people or deeply impoverished people in this system. Rather than blame the system, we individually call them failures, and thus we dehumanize them and we feel okay in whatever fate they have. Five, notice how the players are pulled into the game, be it being taken advantage of their addictive tendencies, right? They played that gambling game. Addiction, we often look at as a crime, when almost certainly addiction is a result of trying to escape poverty, at least mentally. Six, notice that the first thing they were taught when they got there were rules that actually ended up leading to their murder. That's the same way that we imagine that things are good just because they are lawful. Lawful has never historically meant good. It has just meant the way things are. Seven, they were consistently reminded that they already consented to this, even though that consent was only because of the necessity for them to survive within the system that they found themselves in. I don't even have to explain to you how that relates to our life. Eight, the reason why the players left and then came back, even though they knew that they would be facing death, is because that is how irrational our brains are when we are in consistent survival mode, and poverty forces people in survival mode. Nine, this show is also about the patriarchal way in which our world values logic over emotion, which leads people into this whole survival of the fittest rather than empathy and care for your fellow human being. 10, and this one is crazy. Even the staff members were just as controlled as the players in the Squid Game. This shows how this capitalist system that we exist in, even the people that seemingly are in power, are also slaves to this very same thing. And 11, finally, let's talk about the evil billionaires who controlled the whole game at the end. It's interesting because, to quote Paulo Freire from The Pedagogy of the Oppressed, he spoke on how in a system of dehumanization, even those that are seemingly at the highest height of it, who dehumanize all the others, they too are robbed of their humanity via robbing others of humanity. So they were just as addicted, just as lost, just as hopeless as every other player in the game. What this represents in our society is that it is no one to blame here. What is to blame is the system itself. And again, I'm not here like super dismantle capitalism, but what I am is to say that like whatever new system that we create, it needs to be something that is for the wellness of all. There is no problem here except the system that we all collectively exist in. This is a very interesting show. If you desire to learn more